What's up, guys? Welcome back to the infamous project. I posted up on the community board last night that I wasn't going to make a video for this weekend because I was so caught up with everything, and most of you guys should be at Ford Takeover. I am not there, unfortunately, because, well, I'm stuck up here in Canada. Crossing the border ain't that easy. You definitely can't drive across still, so gonna have to wait for that. I am hoping to fly down though and get reunited with my cars down in Texas, and maybe I'll make another show one of these days soon. You can definitely assure that you'll be seeing me at Foxtoberfest later this year, but that's, who knows? COVID's just turned our lives upside down. So behind me, project tax return with no motor and no bumper and no hood. What the hell's going on? All right, guys, so full disclosure, not trying to hide anything from anyone, and I'm going to tell you guys how it is. Project tax return got ripped apart again, and it sucked. That was part of the reason why I've been so busy this week and why I was saying I wasn't going to release a video. It's not all this car though. I've had a lot on my plate. There's a lot of cars that I don't do videos of because some people, well, them or their cars are a little camera shy. So as you guys know, we had this car running, and my last roadblock for the project was the front bumper not lining up properly that I prepped to get painted to put on the car. And well, that's why it is Saturday night, it is late, and I'm at the shop taking advantage of no traffic, nobody messing with the doors, so that I could get the front bumper and the underside of the hood painted. So I'll walk you guys over here. You guys can actually see front bumper cover sitting right there, all nice and shiny, and the underside of the hood. I'm going to go ahead and unplug this fan. I think most of the overspray is now out of the shop, but it's just giving a bunch of unneeded background noise. So good news is making progress in terms of the body panels of the car. Got the whole top side of the hood prepped way back when the last bumper wasn't working. But today I got the underside prepped and I painted the whole thing. So Ford doesn't really paint the center because normally you have that black material sound deadener piece that's in the center there, which after time, if you're even still have one on your car, it's probably ripped or it's torn. If you're fortunate enough to have one in really good shape, then that's awesome. In this case, I don't have any that are in any shape worth saving. Therefore, I painted the whole underside of the hood and got it cleaned up so that it'll look good when the hood's open. Front bumper cover, that's all sprayed. I don't want to get too close. I don't want to bring any dust anywhere near that thing. I have enough time invested in front bumper covers. Therefore, I am going to just keep my distance, and it looks really good from here. I'm really happy with the way that that clear laid down. I don't know if you guys can see it in the camera, but it is pretty shiny. It's pretty smooth. I might not even need to wet sand it, which is exactly what I was going for. I did leave the headlight support bracket in. The reason why I did it is because, well, number one, it was already riveted on. It's an original piece taken off a car. It lined up 100%, and I didn't want to risk, because there's little studs that are in the bottom side there, and I didn't want to risk those little studs trying to bend them around or trying to bend the bumper around the support or trying to get those studs in or out, because the studs, even though they come out, they'll go back in, but sometimes you got to glue them back in, because they the fiberglass or the material at that head bar or headlight support bracket is made out of, they strip out easy. So it is easier this way. When the bumper is black and the support is black, I'm really not concerned. Somebody made the comment, you know, you got to paint it off and support different and make sure you use the right rivets and all those things. Well, everything's painted black and it's going to look really nice in the car. So that's that. Let's get back to why the motor is out of tax return. So when the car fired up, everything sounded fine. And when I was in the car, and there was another video that I did on my cell phone, and then I actually started hearing a little bit of valvetrain rattle. So my first thought that I went to was, okay, I didn't put enough clearance in the valve covers to clear the rockers when I went back to the factory size covers. Well, that wasn't the issue. So I even went as far as I put the old setup back on. I put the old valve covers back on, put the spacer back between the upper and lower intake, and the sound was still there. I ran the car, got it warm. I was hoping that, you know, maybe just the lifter or something. It makes no sense because that motor ran fine and it just kind of, it sat in climate control storage. It was underneath the rack over there. And for it to start making noise sucks. I could have ripped the top end of the motor apart, which in reality I pretty much did in the end. But I just wanted to make sure that I could get this project wrapped up and get the car to the customer. I had another long block accessible to me, very similar mods. You can see it is sitting here. You can't even tell the difference. It looks like the exact same motor. The only difference is it doesn't have the deep oil pan on it. There is a factory oil pan on this one, which is more than sufficient for what the motor is. And everything's been swapped over, and this guy is ready to go in the car. So I'm hoping that I'll get that done first thing this week. I was just waiting on a new oil pan gasket because I wanted to make sure that everything was fresh in this motor as it was in the last one, so that the buyer doesn't have any issues. So that is why Project Tax Return is sitting like I rewound the project back a month. So although I lost some time on this project, the bumper cover sucked, the valve train noise sucked. I'm sure the motor is fine. Now that it's out of the car, it's actually sitting over here. I've gone ahead and just bolted on the upper and the lower and the valve covers and all those things onto it just to make sure that nothing gets into any of the ports. So when I get some time, I'll be able to investigate what's going on there. Worst case, probably a bent push rod, but I really don't think that. I think it's probably a collapsed lifter. So we'll see. Again, I did tons of troubleshooting. Like I lost between the front bumper and trying to figure out what that noise was. I lost a lot of time, but it's fine. We're going to get there. And I think this is important because it's reality. Nothing goes 100%. I talk about project roadblocks. And for all you guys that are doing work at home in your shops and your garage, you know, you're going to run into things, and it's just the way that it happens. And although I was a little discouraged and frustrated because I had so much going on, you just got to plow through. Hence why it's Saturday night, pushing 11 o'clock, and I'm still here. But going to get this wrapped up, and hopefully we'll have the new heart in no time and fired up. Like it took me, I think I had that other motor laying on the floor in less than an hour. You know, it seems like it's a lot of work, but it's not that much work when everything was freshly installed. You know, you don't have to worry about, you know, rusted out bolts or any of those types of things. So it was pretty straightforward. Didn't have to worry too much. The interior of the car got fully detailed. So, you know, when you get a roadblock over here, just kind of move on to something else. So the interior of this thing is now immaculate. It's been fully detailed, steam cleaned. It's looking just awesome. And I know the buyer is going to be super happy about that. So these old tweed seats came out real nice, really happy with everything. It is a super clean interior, clean car. And you can see I actually have some hatchback seats back here, and they actually turned out really nice. You can actually see there's hatchback seats back here. And typically what happens is people will either try and push the backrest out towards the plastic here, and then there's a big gap in the center, or you can technically take these two backrests to an upholstery shop if you have your stock coupe rear seat, and they can take these covers off and stitch them in a way that'll fit across the back. In this case, what I did is I used all the factory hardware for the hatchback. It's all down there, even in a coupe. And I took some vinyl actually that was off the side of another seat that I had. So it's actually this section right here. I took that off and I glued it along the edge here of this rear plastic to fill in the gap. So it keeps everything nice and clean, takes your eye away from a big gaping gap back there, and allows you to have tweed in a pre-90 car. So in case you guys weren't aware, you didn't have a tweed option in a coupe before. I don't even know if you had it available in 90. I think 90 it was still cloth. 91 for sure you could get it. If you want tweed in a pre-90 coupe, you know, especially in this pattern, you have to do something with hatchback rear seats. You don't have an option otherwise. So again, interior looks super clean in this thing. Really happy about that. So the car is filthy. We've had a lot of rain here in the past few weeks, the whole April showers thing. Hoping that the May flowers come now that we're well into May. So we'll see how that goes. And that's about it, guys. Once that's wrapped up, I want to get back onto the white Dutch coupe. I got that panhard bar still sitting over there for it. Still need to cut out the bolts and the lower control arms in the rear as they are seized in there, and get that all buttoned up. And there you have it. So short and sweet video. Just want to give you guys an update of what's happening, share with you guys the realities that I'm going through. I did post on the community board a question about memberships, and I think that putting this question at the end of the video is important for all of you guys that are watching me consistently and you know, subscribed and all those sorts of things. So I have the option to launch memberships on YouTube. I've had the option for a while, and I'm trying to structure them. Well, first off, I need to know if I should launch them. So if you guys are watching, or just go on the community board and give me your feedback. Do you think the memberships are worth doing? I want to make sure that I give something back to you guys that's, you know, worth your while for obviously paying and contributing. You know, I want to make sure that you guys see the benefits from it. So anything like live streaming, maybe even you know, some small groups, access to videos that maybe I won't post publicly. So member specific only videos and swag. So what I want to do is I want to make it so that if you guys sign up, then you have access to either have discounts on swag, or depending on the membership that you're on, you get a free t-shirt or you get a free hat. Also potential discounts on Dutch kits and some other products that I'm looking at launching in the future. So not releasing them yet. I hope to by midway through the year, but I want to get your feedback on that. So please, if you have time, throw that down in the comments or on the community board. Reach out to me directly, however you want to do it. But I appreciate you guys for following along this long, sticking around and seeing what I'm getting up to. So I hope you have a great weekend. If you're at Ford Takeover, I'm super jealous. If you're not, well, you and me are in the same boat. So anyways, till next time, see you guys then.